Hello and welcome to InterSoul Leadership episode where we talk about leadership and helping leaders to be able to release and unlock their brilliancy. We need to go from good to great to being brilliant because good and great just isn't good enough in these days, in this culture that we're living, this ever evolving, ever changing culture. I am Yvette Owens. I'm the CEO of Destiny Speak, where we go in and help leaders understand the principles of agile change leadership principles, where it helps to retain talent, helps to build high performing teams, and helps to be able to help leaders and your team to accept change so it catapults you into greatness. And I am excited to have with me my newfound friend and sister, Adrienne Davis of Anova Human Capital. We just recently met, and I'm telling you, it was a divine connection, and we are going to do some great things in the space of in corporate and business, helping leaders become stronger, have better foundations. So welcome, Adrienne.
Thank you so much, Yvette. Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. And I got to tell you, I greatly appreciate you. And I know we're going to move mountains together.
Awesome. So tell the people about what you do, what services you bring to organizations. I know you serve large, medium, and small organizations, but tell them your special niche and why they need to choose you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We are an HR payroll solutions partner. I was going to say provider, but we do so much more. We can basically fill the gaps of the company, or we could be your solution. And that is really where that is our kind of functionality of what we would like to do for most companies. We like to train the team to make sure we have successful leaders. We want to make sure that we encompass on employee engagement, employer engagement, employer of choice in culture as well. And we want to make sure that when we are providing our solutions, we're making sure that they stay compliant and also making sure that everything is cost effective for the company itself. So we like to save money as much as possible, especially so they can go ahead and utilize those resources for more employee engagement.
Awesome. And I know when we were talking before, you mentioned about the compliance piece. And I think it's so important that while leaders try to be everything to everyone, we shouldn't all the time because we can't sustain that type of power and energy, right? So
Right.
when there are folks like you, especially when there's Anova Human Capital coming along and saying, I don't just want to be your consultant, but I want to partner with you in this space, that just brings joy to my heart because I don't know all those compliance. You have the expertise. You come with all of the years of experience in this space on how to keep leaders out of trouble when it comes to human resource. And we were talking earlier about how we don't even know we could be in trouble. So give us some examples of why it's important that people partner with Anova Human Capital.
Oh, definitely, just to make sure that we keep them compliant. They don't have to pay hefty fines or any legal fees. We want to make sure we're not only, again, but we're partnering with our team, our clients, because we want to make sure that they are employer of choice using best practices and mandates, kind of following company, state, and federal mandates. But realistically, they utilize us because we encompass their culture. We create the culture. Mm-hmm. We are part of the team. We're not an extension. We're not an appendage. We are your team. And that's the difference between Anova versus other companies. We don't want to be the appendage. We want to be one team. And we kind of want to make sure that, again, we're encompassing that employer and employer of choice culture for everyone who's working for that organization. So that is what sets us apart. Again, and also the SMEs and the experts in various industries that we actually cover. And not only that, but just our solutions that we can offer, that we can tailor, from small to large size companies that we can provide. So
I love the fact that you use that term employer of choice, right? Because so many organizations are looking for greater engagement. We've went through a few years, a couple of years ago, the whole Great Resignation, and everything. So leaders really need, and organizations really need to position themselves where we are the company, the employer of choice, and that we can't just do it on the front end. Because I've heard and I've worked with individuals, consulting with them and coaching them, where I went in and they promised me A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then not even 2 months later, it is totally opposite of what they said they promised, and and it just starts to spiral down. So tell us, can you share some examples of where employers or leaders might be having some issues, and that you've seen run into, that we can help them overcome or avoid, right? Because we want to get ahead of that for some people.
Absolutely. And I think that when, again, we had the Great Resignation, a lot of companies were very nervous about, retention. We need to make sure that if we are able to offer total reward packages, better benefits for those employees, we want to retain them, first of all, because every time we lose an employee, it costs us not only money to fill that particular position, but now it's almost like we have to retrain. We're restarting all over again. And every time we lose actually an individual, an employee, we have to think about like a quantitative and qualitative data analysis to actually show how much money did we actually lose when we lost that individual, instead of maybe changing our benefit packages, offering better benefits, and maybe just better solutions for those individuals who are actually working for us. And not only that, but retention is big, especially at this point in time. You'll have some industries where employees will leave for 50 cents. But again, there's some of those industries that we're still there, that it's just the mission. It's them feeling empowered. They have that mission to do something better. So it's keeping them in that company, and that engagement is so important, and it's impactful, because when somebody feels inspired and they feel engaged and they feel like there's that mission, maybe they're not going to have that high increase that they are looking for, but there's that motivation to do better and for a cause. That is how we can go ahead and we can assist that employee. We can keep them engaged, and we can retain them. So again, there's a couple different factors at this point in time. Engagement is so important, and there's just acknowledgement. Hey, every once in a while, say thank you. It's okay to say thank you and say you're doing a great job, and a thank you. It goes a long way, just a pat on the back, just to say thank you so much. I appreciate you. And that is something that I've always told my employees. I tell colleagues, and I tell, employees for our clients, thank you so much, because it goes a long way. Engagement, retention is very important at this particular time. And again, trying to avoid those costly mistakes of letting go of those potential employees who can help it and grow your company. So that's something.
Yeah, and those costs is not around just that single individual, right? But it's the ripple effect that it has through your organization, the morale that it impacts the people who are left. The morale that it even helps, that it impacts other leaders in that organization when you're in a corporate, because your team is committed to bringing an assignment forward, and now you're going to have to delay it because you've had a loss of a member on your team, and now it impacts their project. And so it's more than just that one person that maybe you thought you liked and you hired, and then you guys weren't meeting eye to eye. So it's like, okay, I don't care. Well, no, we have to care, right? We have to make wise choices in bringing people in, not just based on, it's a feel good thing, or whatever, but also the experience and the connection that we can make, and your ability to and commitment to helping that person mature in that position, and you being willing to invest in where they want to grow. Like you said, there are people who will stay in an organization because, maybe the salary increases are not as big as what we want. Now, don't get me wrong, people want more money, so we can't avoid that. But if I know I'm still growing and learning in my knowledge and having opportunity to implement and exercise my skills to make them stronger and become more of an expert, then I'll stay for that, right? Because I know it's going to position me better for that next position. And if I'm in that organization and you're doing that, then I'll look for something internally before I'll look for something external.
Correct.
Right. So it's just so critical that we really look at the cost and the impact, not just from that one relationship, you and that employee, but the ripple effect throughout the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so correct on that. And it's not only, it's not only about the bottom dollar. How do we want to see how are you going to see the company grow? What is the mission of the company? Sometimes we just have to redirect and go back to what's the vision of the company. So, I have to say, it's just making sure that we keep and retain our employees, anything that we can do, even simple, like we said, thank you, appreciation notes, anything we can do, especially at this point in time, just to retain them is very important.
So are you seeing a trend in training that people, organizations are looking for and needing at this point?
Absolutely, especially for career skill paths, excuse me. So, especially because what we want to do is mold those employees that we have here. Of course, we want to mold those employees to be the future leaders of the company. So whether it's DEI or if it's leadership training, how we can go ahead and motivate that employee to grow with that company, that organization. A lot of companies are actually focusing more and spending money on the training and development of their team members, because they, of course, moving forward for succession planning, we need to make sure that employee, they can grow into the positions that we want them to be. So absolutely, spending a little bit of money on just making sure that that we have the quality employee that we want for the future.
I know you're right on with that, because I just found the statistic where only 12% of companies are confident that their leadership bench strength is able to take them to the next place.
Right.
That's a staggering number. Only 12% of all organizations are confident that they're going to be okay because their leaders are ready to move on. And then I saw that in that same article, only 27%, more than 27%, only 27% are confident that their leaders can take them to the next level with regards to culture and technology and the advancements that are coming along in society, right? Mm-hmm. So there is a huge gap and a huge need in leadership training within an organization, so that you're prepared for what's coming, right? And things are changing so quickly. So can you talk about change leadership and how to change management and how you're preparing people and organizations for the changes that are here? I'm not even going to say they're coming. The changes are here.
Changes are here. And again, it's just going back to the mission of the company, the vision of the company. Where does the company see themselves growing? Where is the expansion of that particular company? I have a current company right now. They want to double in size. We're creating new positions for that company. As the company grows, we're going to create new leaders for those particular departments. And again, it's going back to what is the vision of the company and what are the particular positions that we need to create and train those individuals, if we already have a good team available, to go ahead and offer them those skills that they again become successful in that particular position. But change management is very important for especially the success of a company, and especially when people are getting ready to retire as well. So again, it's going back to training development, seeing what the vision is, what are those skill paths and those skills that we can go ahead and train those particular employees who maybe are suited for those. And it's always great to hire and promote within, because then that is another way of engagement for a company. Again, we can retain those employees. But yeah, at this point in time, I see that just the vision and how we can, those particular positions and those the goals that we set precedent for the company will actually financially make that company more sound as well.
I love that. And it's around you keep mentioning the vision. And I think that's important. I think sometimes, and I know we all need to step back periodically, probably more often than not, to look at, what did I set out to do in this organization? What did I set out to do in this team? What's our vision? What's our mission? And am I being true to it? Right? Because we can start going down a road and, oh, this sounds good. Or we go after the shiny new thing. And then next thing we know, we're not even close to what we set out to do. We're not meeting the needs of our defined niche and defined target market because we've gone by distractions off somewhere down a whole road that we never even intended to. So being true, getting back to the main thing, keeping the main thing. And that doesn't mean that we don't learn and grow and take on ideas that will enhance that vision, but we have to be true to the main thing. What's that main vision? Keep that in scope. And as we used to say in project management, avoid that scope creep. don't go scope creeping, but keep the main thing, and keep that focus. And then you as a leader, keep reiterating it and reinforcing it through your communications, through your behaviors, through your actions with the people on your team, so that as they're making suggestions, as they're making decisions within their sphere of influence, they're always able to bring it back, and you can trace it back to, what did we say we were going to do? How did we say we were going to serve the community? How did we say we were going to serve these clients? And so I'm sure you see where people get distracted and derailed, and they're like, I don't even know what we're supposed to be doing anymore.
And it does happen, because it's like you said, you kind of like, sometimes you have to, you look outside the box. There are certain companies that they're evolving, and maybe they do have to redefine their mission and their vision, or maybe the mission's always the same, but to redefine their vision scope. But at the same point, it just, it's kind of what they're trying to do is they're trying to be successful and on their journey, and really what they really need to do is, like you said, step back. What did we want to do? How did we really, how did we want to move forward? What is the scope? What is the audience that we're really actually targeting at this time? And then again, if I think we all every year should really go back and do a SWOT analysis on what worked, what didn't work, and what were our weaknesses and what were our strengths. And then, then we can go ahead and kind of make a roadmap on how we're going to move forward the following year. Because if we do that every year, every company will be successful in what they do.
Yeah, and as decisions are being made, you tie it back to that always.
Right.
Tell me, how is this supporting this vision? Ask yourself as a leader that question. How is what I've asked my teams to do supporting what the vision that we set?
Mm-hmm.
What's the outcome? What's the key performing results? What is it that's going to help me and help us get further down the line? I have absolutely enjoyed this conversation. I thank you for doing all of the things that you do in the community and in business with the corporations and even the medium-sized organizations. And you have a heart to help even those entrepreneurs. But you've been
Mm-hmm.
very successful in helping those large organizations also be able to um, get a better handle on the human capital.
Yes.
Um, because human beings still in my book called No Bosses Allowed, Lead to Serve and Transform, the first chapter says individuals matter. And so the individuals of our organizations, we've invited them along this journey, right? And so we have to make sure that they're in a good place. And leader, Miss Leader, Mr. Leader, you are an individual, so you matter too. So it's not about, everybody else around you, but it is about you. So Adrienne, tell us, do you have something coming up? How can people reach you? We will put all that information in the show notes as well. But what would you like to say to the folks as we start to sign off?
Oh, absolutely great time with you today. We do have a couple training webinars coming up, especially on November 7th. Again, we're going to be educating business owners about Connecticut paid sick leave, because there's some new mandates coming down the pike, and anybody can always just reach out to us. We're a resource for the community. So if you ever need anything, just reach out to me, and I'm here to help.
Awesome. So we'll make sure, can anybody join the webinar that you're hosting?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll make sure we put that information out on our site so people can sign up and join that as well. Listen, folks, InterSoul Leadership is about really having the heart. And I know you're in business with the heart, right? But to really bring that back up, because things have been inundating you. You've been heads down, but this is about, come on, let's raise the level to brilliancy by taking a deep breath, figuring out where you need help to come in and partner with you, not just come in and throw something at you and your team and then walk away. A Nova Human Capital is that organization that's going to help come in and help partner with you to make sure the human resource space is absolutely top notch. So we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you again, Adrienne. It's my pleasure. We're going to do this again because I'm sure it's helpful for many, many organizations.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, everyone.